Hi, this is Sonia with Artsy Solutions, and today I want to make some journal paper or scrapbook paper. So I'm going to go to File, New, and by the way, I'm using Adobe Photoshop 2020. It's Adobe CC Creative Cloud, and so yeah, I opened up a new file. So for the new document type, we're going to do Print. And it's going to automatically default to the width of 8.5 by 11 inches with the orientation of portrait, and we're going to leave it portrait. Resolution 300, RGB color for color mode, and background contents white, and color profile working RGB. Pixel aspect ratio square pixels. So we'll just click create. Okay, so basically, I'm just going to go over to the color picker, and I'm just going to randomly choose a color, and it's like already on blue, like a light blue color. So I'm going to hit Option Delete, or if you're on a personal PC, or Alt Delete actually, yeah. So I'm going to make a copy of this page, or this layer, and so I'm going to hit Command J or Control J on a personal PC, and then I'm gonna go over to my styles. Now if your styles isn't already shown, you can go up to the top on the top menu, and you want to make sure that your styles is checked, because if it isn't, then well, you're not going to see it. So go to Window, Styles, and then your styles will show up. And Photoshop automatically has some styles installed on it, but today I'm going to work on some that I've downloaded, and I got these styles from Pixel Scrapper, and I'll have a link in the description of which ones I'm using. And I'm using some vintage, this by Sheila Reid Vintage Paper Styles number 5. So I just clicked on it, and when you click on a style on a layer, your layer takes on those properties. So at first it was, you know, of course, the light blue, and now it's got like the vintage kind of paper look. So I want that style to remain. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to rasterize this layer. Okay, we're going to create a new layer. So there's different ways you can do it. You can click on this little plus button down here that's right beside the trash can, or you can go Layer, New, and then Layer. And you can give your layer a name or just click OK. So now we have a new layer. And so I'm going to come over here to the tools, and I'm going to click on a brush. And make sure, let's see. Make sure it's the brush tool that's chosen from this little drop down menu, because you have a pencil tool, color replacement tool, and the mixer brush tool. I just want the brush tool. Okay, so I have several different brushes. Just like with styles, I got many of my brushes from Pixel Scrapper, and I'll have a link in the description of where I got all these from. So since I'm doing like a steampunk kind of look, I'm going to use I'm gonna use like a paint spatter brush, and these are the Marisa Lerin paint spatter brushes. And there's different ones that can give you different looks. This one is brush 042G, and I'm just gonna, you can increase your brush size by using your brackets, your left bracket and right brackets. You can increase or decrease the sizes of your brackets. And I'm just going to click, and my brush color is already blue because that's the color that was already on the color picker. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So I'm going to reduce the size of this brush, and then I'm going to go over here near the brush, near the menu, and to the left of where it says size on this little wheel, you can turn the direction of your brush. So let's see. I'm just going to turn it and then click, and then it's in a different direction. Okay, and then I'm going to go to another brush. Now this brush, this is a vintage handwriting brush, and this one is not from Pixel Scrapper. This one is actually, I have to look it up. I have to look up the name of where I got this brush from. Okay, so that's the handwriting brush. I'm going to choose another handwriting brush. I'm going to decrease the size. Okay, now you can just leave it at the color that it is, and at the moment I think I will. I'm just going to leave this layer. I'm just going to name this layer brush layer. That's what I'm going to call it. And the layer beneath it that's got like the beige copy, I'm going to call that vintage paper. And then we know that the blue layer is the background paper. So I just want to show you some of the things that we can do to play around with this. So on the vintage paper layer, this middle layer, on the layers panel, right beside normal, there's a drop down menu right here. You just click it, and then when you click on it, it shows you different options. And remember, we're wanting to do like a steampunk look, so I like that linear burn. But just scroll down and just look at the variations of colors that you can come up with when you're using different blending modes. I like that one too. So I like lighter color. I think I'm gonna stick with linear burn because it just has that vintage chemistry industrial kind of look to it. So I'm just gonna leave that there. And then I'm gonna go up here to the brush layer and I'm gonna play around with it and do the same thing. So the natural blue of that color, let me just, the natural blue of that color will change. You see what I'm saying? It becomes darker. Like multiply, color burn, linear burn. It takes on different shades. So instead of it being blue, it can look black, or it can just look all kinds of colors. I kind of like this. I'm just stick to this little hard mix just for time's sake. Okay. Then we're going to come over here and we're going to use the burn tool. And you have on the drop down list, you have your dodge tool, your burn tool, and your sponge tool. I want to use the burn tool because it's going to make it look somewhat burnt or darker. So you want to choose which layer you want to burn. So I'm going to click on this, the middle layer, this vintage paper layer. And this is another one of Marisa Lerin's brushes that's on here. This is one of her paint brushes, or yeah, paint brushes. So I'm just going to click and drag over some of the area. And you see how it takes on that burnt kind of old look? I like that. It gives it a vintagey kind of, it's been around for a minute look to it. Okay, so I think I'm just going to leave it like that. And now I'm going to come over here to the move tool. at the top on the tools panel. And then I'm gonna make a copy of the vintage paper layer. So Command J, and then I'm gonna drag this layer to the very top. And then I'm gonna come up here to my styles, and there's a particular style that I have, and it's by Sahin's Designs. And like I said, I'll have a link in the description to show you what all these where you can get some of these styles and things from. And when I do that, it basically creates like a border, like an outlining border. So for example, if I were to hide these other layers, you can see where this vintage layer appears. If I take it off, that's what it looks like. If I put it back on, that's what it looks like. So we're going to go ahead and turn on our other layers again. And that's basically it. So you have yourself like a steampunk kind of vintage looking paper. And if you can come to your brush layer, and if you feel like that's too strong, you can come over to opacity and you can reduce the opacity so it's not as bright. It's more and more transparent. It kind of blends or hides in. It's just kind of in there, you know. I think that kind of looks a little bit better. I'll leave it at like 46% because it is kind of blended in better. But yeah, so I hope that this was helpful. And once again, I used Photoshop CC 2020, and I made an 8.5 inch by 11 inch paper. And you can make your own digital paper and print it out and make all kinds of fun little things with it. So shoot a comment below and let me know how you like this. And like, comment, share, subscribe, and check out my blog and social media sites. And thanks for watching.